on the recording?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Is it better or worse than going, we're live?
You don't have to say either
and
one.
we're recording. That's what I'm going to do for now.
Okay, great. That's our new intro. Welcome to Chewing Glass. You know what they say. Glass don't chew itself.
Do they?
It's super common.
Who are they, exactly?
You know, they. The ever persistent.
The Illuminati. They chew glass all the time. We would know.
The Illuminati chews glass?
I don't know. I'm fucking...
You just said it!
I'm making shit up.
Hi, I'm Samantha.
Hi, I'm Zach.
Are you saying hi to me or them? Because I said hi and you immediately said hi and you were like looking at me.
Am I supposed to look at the mic?
You just were like giving me so much eye contact.
I don't know where else I'm supposed to look.
Me neither. Okay, so I have a lot of, I guess, like, topics that I found out about this week that I thought would be cool to talk about.
Yeah, I have one too, actually.
Yeah?
Quick talking
How
point.
many do you have?
I just have one. I have one pre-talking point, and then I have my main story.
Okay. I was just gonna say, well, a lot of things. So the first one is that Denver just voted to decriminalize shrooms.
Which is crazy.
Isn't that cool?
It makes sense. I mean, it's just another plant like pot.
So you can't be arrested for possession, or if it's like in your system if you're over the age of 21. You can still be arrested for selling. Right. And like probably if you're doing it while driving. Yeah. Yeah. But if they like pull you over and you just have like a couple shrooms in your car, you're not going to be arrested.
Right. That's good.
Right? Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just go not buy, because that's illegal, but find some shrooms in Denver.
We'll just go.
Someone will gift them to us.
We'll go into the woods.
We'll take them. That'll be great.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always wanted to try shrooms. Just like a tiny little one, though, so I don't have like 20 hours of intense.
Yeah, I've never tried it either.
Oh, scary. Okay. Oh, I have an update on our MK Ultra episode.
Okay, sweet.
The government was also trying to create remote-controlled dogs.
Like dog bombs?
No, like remote-controlled
like
dogs.
mind-controlled? Yeah. Oh. Did you hear my throat? My throat got real uncomfortable there. I wondered if that came over.
Ain't that crazy? Like that. So these documents were provided under the Freedom of Information Act by John Greenwald. He's the founder of the Black Vault. Ooh. Yeah, this is obviously copy and pasted. A site specializing in declassified government records. In one declassified letter, a redacted individual writes to a doctor whose name is also redacted, with advice about launching a laboratory for experiments in animal mind control. Ooh. The writer of the letter is already an expert in the field whose earlier work had culminated with the creation of 6 remote control dogs, which could be made to run, turn, and stop.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I know.
And fucked up. Poor puppy.
But it's like, they could still be doing that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. It's entirely possible, I'd say.
Right? So that was my update on the MK Ultra episode.
I like it.
My next one is, this one actually came out like last year, but I just found out about it because I'm so slow. Okay. China wants to make an artificial moon. There's this town in China and they want to make, it's going to be an illumination satellite disk and it's going to replace street lights with like a dusk-like glow.
Interesting.
Yeah. They plan to launch it in 2020.
Oh shit.
So that's pretty close.
I was gonna say that's an interesting idea, but I don't think it'll ever happen. But if it's saying 2020,
they think it's gonna happen, and they say it's gonna be 8 times brighter than the moon. Huh. So it's gonna help save almost $200 million a year in electricity from streetlights, like $200 million. But they aren't sure how it's gonna affect wildlife.
That's a good.
Because it's gonna be bright all the time.
A lot of animals use the moon for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that and there's nocturnal animals, nocturnal flora and fauna.
Animals use the moon for like direction and guiding them places.
Well, now they're gonna have a big light beam in the sky.
That's fucked up.
Artificial moon. Yeah, so I guess we'll see and there's actually a lot of other concerns that were raised by other people. It's just like this specific town in China, but they want to help with light pollution and save on electricity bills. So it's like a good idea in a way. I don't see that. But it could have potential repercussions.
Wouldn't a second moon cause more light pollution, I would think?
Well, it's going to be reflecting light from the sun, so that it's not like artificial light pollution.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Okay, so kind of along those lines, do you want to talk about Jeff Bezos' dumb idea?
Sure. What is it?
Do you know what it is?
Mm-mm.
Where are you? How are you? This came out this week, okay? This is not...
The only time I get on Twitter is to look at Game of Thrones memes after an episode comes out.
Oh, okay, but you also get on things that aren't Twitter.
I haven't been on Reddit very often.
There is this thing called the internet.
Yeah.
Or any news. Anyway, okay, so Jeff Bezos has... Oh my god, okay. Sorry, I'm already mad. He's highlighted immediate problems on Earth, like hunger, homelessness, and climate change. Mm-hmm. So instead of using his fortune to help solve things like world hunger, homelessness, or help make emission changes for climate change,
right,
his solution is space colonies. His vision is pretty much giant glass tubes in the sky with like artificial ecosystems sustaining life. And he has like, he had some digital artists draw some drawings. Mm-hmm. And one is like this glass tube, but it's got like some mountains and a river running through them and like an elk on the mountain. Uh-huh. How are you going to sustain that? We don't know how to create weather.
Right.
And so, I don't know.
Sounds like sci-fi.
To me, it's just hilarious because...
He could actually do something.
Right. You have all this money to actually help with hunger and homelessness and climate change now. And instead you're like, nope, I'm going to invest all of this stuff into space tubes that won't even be available in our lifetime. Mm-hmm. So... And, fun like, times. We know only the rich and elite are going to live there. And so one of his... Yeah, of course. Right? But one of his illustrations he has up is, like, a tube and it's just farming. And I'm like, okay, well, the rich and elite aren't going to farm for themselves, like, if we're being honest.
They're going to flip right back to indentured servitude.
Yeah.
Poor people are going to have to work to get a ticket on the flight.
Great.
Right back to indentured servitude.
Yeah. Yep, so even though we don't have the technology to do it, and it certainly won't be done in our lifetime, that's what he's putting his insane amount of wealth towards. Instead of
it's a good thing
helping actual problems. What?
I guess it's a good thing his ex-wife took half.
Yeah, but like, what is she doing with it?
True.
I don't know if she's going to do anything either. Yeah. That's why I'm trying to get you now before you become rich. If we get married and there's no prenup, then when I divorce you, I get half. And I'm cool with half.
As long as you donate to charity, you can't just sit on it or else you're a hypocrite.
Okay, but once you become rich, your brain, they've done studies that once you have a lot of wealth, your brain, like, the chemicals in there alter to where you don't give a shit about people anymore. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's terrible. I would like to think that as a rich person, I would be so wonderful, but who knows?
Because I think most people, they, like, just kind of use people to try to get themselves higher on the ladder, and then once they feel like they're at the top, they don't need people anymore, so they stop giving a fuck about them.
Yeah. So I came across this cool, like, sorry, these are all super random. No, I'm sorry.
Okay. You're fine.
Okay, do you want to know how many murderers you've come across in your lifetime?
Sure.
Okay, so if you meet 10 new people a day, 365 days a year,
okay,
and let's say you live 71 years,
okay,
and you live in a city of about 260,000 people,
sure,
potentially you'll come across about 16 murderers in your lifetime. Because there's 6 per every 100,000 people.
Dang.
And like we live in a city of 200,000.
So there's probably 12 in here somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Isn't that crazy? So you could come across at least 16 murderers in your lifetime.
Jesus.
And hope that you're not going to be one of the victims. So.
And hope you're not a victim.
I just thought it was cool. I was just like listening.
It's interesting.
I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay. I have one more.
Okay.
Okay, so just a glimpse at like my healthy dose of paranoia and everything. Those DNA tubes that you spit into and you send to like 23andMe and Ancestry.com and whatnot to see your like ancestry or to see what's in your blood or your genes.
So they can tell you if you like have diabetes or are likely to get it.
I mean, I know I already. Everyone in my family does, so I didn't need to spit in a tube for that. I know I'm dying with my feet cut off. Like it's just.
Hey, there we go.
It's gonna happen.
Look at peg legs.
I had ice cream for breakfast like 2 days ago. I'm doing nothing to help.
I'm an enabler.
So now your DNA can and is being sold to big pharma, drug giants. Yeah. And it's not news either. This came out, I think, over a year ago, but people keep doing it. Mm-hmm. And I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and they're like, do it. That way you can catch murderers because you might be related to someone who killed someone 30 years ago or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's how they caught, like, the Golden State Killer, and how they caught, not to say where we're from, but that one guy that I was telling you about.
Oh,
with that area.
Yeah.
So I get that it does good things like that, but you guys have seen Black Mirror. They have a whole episode where, like, the government found out what was in people's DNA, and so they just started killing them off.
That's right.
That way people that would be born later on wouldn't have that kind of stuff in their DNA. And that's 100% sounds like something the governments would do. So maybe stop spitting in a cup and selling it. And you pay to do that. Mm-hmm. You have to pay money to spit into this tube and get your stuff back. And then they sell your info. So you're paying them to make money off of your genetics. So just think about things before you do it, guys. Don't just hop on all the trends. Mm-hmm. And that was it. So what was your thing this week?
So
that's all I had.
My talking point is breast implants giving you cancer.
Oh my god. What about butt implants?
If they're made of silicone, yes.
I want a butt implant.
Silicone is really the issue.
So I'll just use my stomach fat to give me a butt.
Sure, there we go.
Okay, see? Fine. It doesn't affect me. Great.
Okay. So recently breast implants have been connected to a rare form of cancer due to them leaking. But the dangers of implants have been known since 1991. So, like, and then I'll get into why they kind of covered it up. But, yeah, so this has all been known for, like, years. Like, basically since breast implants became a thing.
Just like climate change has been known forever. Yeah. And no one's done anything to stop it. But go ahead, sorry.
There were multiple lawsuits filed, against Dow Corning, which is a chemical company that created the silicone implants.
Okay.
And they were getting sued because they were leaking and causing many issues like cancer and lupus.
Leaking how?
Like a
hole got popped in there?
No, like the outside shell just like would deteriorate over time.
Because your body breaks it down?
It would just start leaking the silicone inside your body. Because, breast implants are put like behind your muscle.
Yeah.
So imagine leaking silicone inside there.
I didn't know breast implants were put behind your muscle. I just kind of thought they just put them...
I saw a picture. It's like there's like the milk bit, and then there's like a muscle, and then they're behind the muscle pushing all that forward.
Oh, they put it behind your milk glands?
Yeah.
For some reason, I just thought they got rid of all that.
No.
I didn't know you could still breastfeed with fake breasts. I guess because they put it behind it?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. I mean, it's still terrifying.
Right.
I didn't know any of that.
So that company, Dow Corning, that first started making these silicone implants, they created silicone because they were a chemical weapons chemical weapons. What am I trying to say? Manufacturer.
I was like, I have no idea.
Before that, so they were they invented silicone as a chemical, like for chemical weapons and as rat poison, and then started putting it in breast implants and putting it in women's bodies.
I'm not even surprised. Like, I know, it's like I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised because they do terrible things all the time. It's always to women.
Yeah. They actually, after all those lawsuits, they got banned from making implants, and then implants started getting way more like regulated. But then in 2006, the FDA restored silicone due to lobbying from two major implant manufacturers who convinced the FDA that those safety issues had been fixed and were concerns of the past.
Oh my god.
Yep. You imagine there's some donations going on there, I would say.
Yes, it's always money. Mm-hmm. It's always like, even with fucking... Sorry, that'll start a whole new tangent. Never mind. You go ahead. It's always money. I'm mad.
I know. However, the complaints and issues never actually stopped. The FDA allowed manufacturers to bury reports of ruptures and other injuries by reporting them as routine events, quote, which did not require disclosure. So if like they had leaks, they could just call them a routine event, and they wouldn't have to disclose it to the FDA. So they basically just got to hide up to the FDA came out and said there was probably as much as 100,000 reports that were running. Yeah.
How did we not hear about this? I mean, I remember that like, one article where one girl like got on a plane and her boobs exploded or something, but damn.
So yeah, back in 1991 was when the lawsuits were filed against Dow Corning, and then silicone implants were banned, and then 2006 they brought them back.
That's so recent. Oh my god.
And then also the FDA allowed them to report issues through something called alternative summary reporting, which allowed them to combine thousands of different reports as one single report. So they just lump them all into like a summary. And,
that's stupid.
Yeah, and it would just count as one report.
Oh my god.
There was even risk of implants growing mold inside the body.
What?
There was a lady.
What if you're allergic to penicillin? You're gonna die. You just grew penicillin inside your body. Well, not all. Sorry, that's just where my brain went. Oh my god, it freaked me out.
But there was an interview with a lady who like worked for some foundation for like breast implant like illness awareness and like helping people and stuff, and she said that some of the sickest people she ever saw were their implants had leaked in their body and started growing mold inside their body.
Oh my god.
And there was also a lady who was interviewed who said she
is Dolly Parton gonna be okay?
I don't know. There's a saline, you can get saline implants that are just salt water, and so they don't have all these issues, but that's what saline is. Salt water. It's like a saltwater.
So you just have water boobs?
Yeah, like a water bed.
Well, boobies. Your boobs are kind of like they're full of water. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, I kept you interrupting.
Oh yeah, another woman said that she had breast cancer and got her breast removed, so she got implants, and then the implants gave her cancer again.
Damn.
Because they leaked inside her. So yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah. There's also a survey done to ask women what kind of warnings they received before getting implants. They surveyed 300 women. 2 said they were fully informed. Half said they had some type of warning that a rupture or leak could happen, and about 40% said they got no warning at all.
I believe it.
And they also, there was like the like news people who like broke the story sent women with hidden cameras to like ask about getting implants, and the majority of the time the risks were heavily downplayed and the benefits were upplayed, of course.
Right, of course. Like,
oh
no.
That's all I got for that.
That's
yeah, isn't that
gross.
terrifying?
Yes. That's terrifying. I've never wanted boob implants, but I've always wanted a better butt. It's so flat back there.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, God. It's like a crack in a wall. It's just a crack in a wall.
Jeez.
I don't know if they do butt implants like that, though. I know a lot of the times they just use, like, your fat from other areas of your body.
Yeah, probably.
Because, like, why would you sit on
right
implants? Oh, now I'm just picturing like things popping. It's fucking up my whole mindset. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, my rant that I was gonna do kind of in the middle of your thing about the money is that's why the food pyramid says that you need a shit ton of milk when you actually don't. It's actually milk. 60% of the population has a milk allergy because we're not supposed to consume bovine lactose.
Right.
And but in World War II, they made a shit ton of money on milk by shipping it off to the soldiers and like whatever.
Right.
So when the war was over, they had all this fucking milk that they didn't have anything to do with. So they paid all this money for all this propaganda to be like, you need to drink 20 got.
Honestly, that explains the whole got milk thing and why
right?
it was in every
that's
school
what
ever.
it is. It's not, and
because it was
it's
literally
not even that healthy for you.
It was like military propaganda for milk.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is. Yeah. And they got celebrities and some pretty faces that you like to see to put on an Elmer's glue mustache and tell you to drink milk. And that's, God, our government. Well, it's my turn to go first.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh my God. This was a nightmare. I chose to do Scientology because it's, this cult / maybe religion. It's not. It's totally a cult. And I've just always wanted to know more about it. And I was like, hey, I'll just do a podcast on it. This took days to sort through all of this ridiculous information. And I don't even know if I put it in the right order. And a lot of it is going to be jarbled. And I'm really sorry. I tried really hard. This was like a lot of hours. And I only have 8 pages on it because I was just sick of it. I was just touched. I did so much research on this stupid thing. I had a dream about Scientology last night. It was really weird. And we had 3 swimming pools.
We had 3 swimming pools?
Yeah, because the Scientologist told us that we needed 3 swimming pools. I'll explain to you the dream later. It was definitely strange. But, okay, so I'll just start.
Okay.
So Scientology is legally recognized as a religion, making it tax exempt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Which is wrong. All giant churches should have to pay taxes, but that's a rant for another day.
Right.
They also completely reject medicine and psychology. So we're already off to just a great start. Scientology means knowing how to know, or the study of life and knowledge. Depends on which leader you ask.
Knowing how to know. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was developed by L. Ron Hubbard in the 1950s.
Okay.
I would like to point out that L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction novelist writer before Scientology became a thing.
That's so funny,
He
honestly.
has a lot of science fiction books published.
It's so fucking funny.
Yeah. And before...
He cracked the code. He figured out how to make money.
Yeah.
If I peddle this shit as a religion...
That's what he said. He had a quote. He is quoted saying that... don't write for a penny a word or whatever. If you want to make real money, create a religion. Or it was like really close to that. And,
right.
like, that's all over when you like look up about Scientology. I only had to read that quote 3,000 times. Because before he created Scientology, he wrote a book called Dianetics. And Dianetics rejects religion. Mm-hmm. And it like talks about how you don't need it. And it's all about your body. And it's like kind of like a self-help book.
Right.
And then literally like 2 years later, he creates Scientology, and it's like, it's a religion. So it's like, what is the truth?
What is the truth?
So I'm going to try and kind of sum it all up before I get into each part.
Ready.
It's so much. Oh my God, it's so much.
I'm here for it.
I'm already exhausted. So when you start Scientology, like let's say you walk up to... a building or whatever, they do like free personality tests, or they'll offer you like a small self-help course to like get you in. Mm-hmm. So it's presented as a self-help, self-betterment sort of program.
Right.
And they call it going clear. That's how you like clear.
Oh,
that's like it's mentioned everywhere. You want to be clear. You're not clear right now, but you want to be. So
clear me
you
right
want people
out.
to just be able to see right through you. Transparent. No, I'm just kidding. To get clear, you have to first start their paid courses, of course. Mm-hmm. Which in the beginning, when they bring you into it, they charge like $20, $30 a course. Right. But those aren't real courses. Those are just to like get you in doctrines and get their like propaganda really sunk into you. And so once you decide to do this, you have to start a purification rundown. Which is...
These like phrases and words.
Oh my God, there's so many fucked up, weird ass phrases in here. So you start your purification rundown. Okay. And that's where they put you in a sauna for hours while like spoon feeding you vitamins, and they make you drink vinegar, and you have to eat spoonfuls of salt, and you just have to sweat out. You have to sweat out all the impure chemicals you've ever had in your life. So like even if you've like taken ibuprofen before, like say you've never had anything done to you, but one time when you were like 10, your mom gave you an ibuprofen, you have to go to the sauna and you have to sweat it out.
Jesus. Yeah,
they reject medicine.
That's so weird because they're called Scientology.
Oh my, don't even. There's so much in here where you're just going to be like, what? Okay, and they make you do this they can make you do it for several months. Jesus. It's supposed to just be a couple weeks, but if they feel like you're not quite pure enough, they're going to keep making you do it. The cost of this program in 2009 was around $5,000.
Holy shit.
$5,000 to
make you clear,
sweat.
Man.
And they'll like make you jog and just, I don't know. And it's crazy. You're not allowed to take even Benadryl.
Holy shit.
So The real program and the set of courses is called The Bridge to Total Freedom. I know, sounds great. And each course on that bridge, and there's a shit ton.
I bet.
It's about $600
Holy
for
fuck.
each course. And those are, the small ones starting out. You have to pay more as you get up.
Right.
So, along with these courses, Scientologists must attend something called auditing.
Okay.
Auditing is $800 an hour. So not only do you have to pay $650 for your course, you have to pay $800 to be audited, which is their kind of therapy, and it's not therapy. So auditing, they're done by you holding these 2 metal rods. Remember how I made you watch this video of this thing called an e-meter?
Okay.
So I'm going to try to explain it to the audience. There's this machine, and it's got like a little needle on it that moves up and down. And it's connected to these 2 metal rods that you hold in your hand. And they're going to ask you a question. And that needle is going to move up and down on the scale. And wherever that needle lands, somehow the person auditing you knows what it means. But only they do.
Of course.
It's very convenient. Only they know how to read these tests.
The video you showed me, it looked like the needle was just going back and forth. Right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, and so it's called an e-meter.
Okay.
So the e-meter supposedly tells the person auditing you if you're being naughty, or if you've been cleansed, cleared, whatever. Yeah. When you're auditing, you're telling them, like, your deepest, darkest secrets, your desires, and they not only record it, but they keep it forever. And later
it's like
on,
blackmail. I've heard of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you try to leave, like, the church, they'll use it against you.
That's crazy.
Because when you go in, you're thinking, it's like a confession, I guess, for Christians,
right.
What are they called? Catholics. And so you're thinking that you're getting rid of all of this, and you're just like shedding your burdens or whatever, but really they're going to keep it and use it against you later. Yeah. So, $800 an hour. So me and you, we're never going to be able to afford. Yeah. And we're never going to be able to afford this.
I love it.
Let me see. After you complete the bridge, which can take like either 40 years of your life or a couple lifetimes, which I'll get into later, and millions of dollars, you are sent to live on this yacht in the ocean. It's called, oh man, I didn't even write the name down.
Yacht.
Free Winds? It's called Free something. And you live there until the church says you don't have to anymore.
Oh my god.
So
just leave you on a boat.
Yeah. And basically it's all about becoming clear. I know, it doesn't make sense yet. I'm going to try to get there.
I don't think it's going to make sense.
Before all that, the part that sucked me in.
Okay.
Scientology believes in aliens.
Right.
Which you're like, okay, so I believe in aliens. Okay, that's not that crazy. Not just aliens, but that they themselves are aliens. But not aliens. Not just aliens. They're gods.
Right, of course. Because what else would you be?
So once you pass over the bridge, supposedly you remember how to use all your powers, like telepathy and mind control. And eventually...
It's so fucking clear.
Eventually, you will become a god once again and be able to control matter and create your own world.
I think they confuse the word transcendence with translucence.
It's so... Oh, God, I don't... Okay. So that was my kind of summary. But it's like so much more than that, and it was so hard to try and shrink it down. Right. So now, here's a little thing I pulled from the internet. I bold all the stuff that I copy-paste.
Okay.
Scientologists believe that people are immortal alien beings called thetans.
Okay.
Who have forgotten their true nature and are trapped on Earth in a human body. Scientologists believe that each thetan has lived numerous past lives, both on Earth and in our physical bodies, and on other planets. Scientologists also believe that by undergoing a series of classes and teachings called auditing, people can free themselves of their human form and reclaim their true selves.
Did anybody ever ask this guy, how do you know this stuff? Hey, science fiction writer,
he supposedly died for a few minutes.
And saw it all.
And saw it all, yeah.
That's just lazy. Come on.
And it's like, ugh. Okay, but you caught on to the past lives aspect. So remember how you have to become clear by confessions or sins,
Right.
like confessing your sins? Well, during that, you're also supposed to clear all of your past lives wrongdoing that you, of
Great.
course, have no fucking memory
Right,
of.
that you don't know about? Yeah.
So let's say that you're just like someone who was raised, you had like a super great home, super great parents, you never even got bullied, your life's just been A+, maybe you stole some candy from a grocery store when you were a kid, okay, but you had like a super normal basic life. You theoretically would become clear very quick.
Right.
So of course, and this part got added on later, the past lives thing.
Right.
So of course now you're becoming clear too quickly. Now you have to make
gotta-
up for the sins of your past lives that you don't know. But the people reading the e-meter, they know.
This shit's so fucking obvious. It makes me so mad that anybody buys this crap.
I actually have some questions brought up of things they ask you while holding the e-meter.
Ooh, okay.
Did you come to Earth for evil purposes?
Yes.
Have you ever destroyed a culture? Have you ever torn out someone's tongue? Because they have to go to your past lives and see how evil you were when you were a Thetan. Okay, I know it's really confusing. I'm going to try to explain it. Okay,
No, I'm
so
here with you.
that was, now I'm going to try and put this in a specific order that makes a little bit more sense.
Okay.
But it truly makes no sense, so I'm sorry. Bear with me. So remember we talked about the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
They have levels on the bridge that you have to move up through.
Right, as you would.
Right. 'Cause
All bridges have multiple
they
levels.
have so many levels. So, they're called OT levels. There's supposedly 15 OT levels, but the church only operates with 8 OT levels because L. Ron Hubbard died before finishing the 15.
So they're just missing some?
Right. But
What kind of
supposedly
bridge has
we're
15
not
levels?
supposed to know that. We only know because of defactors who have left the church and been like, guys, there's only 8 levels because he died before he could finish the 15.
Gotcha.
So OT, the OT levels, OT stands for operating Thetan. A Thetan is your soul,
Okay.
but it's also a bunch of other things.
Right.
Because Scientology is not straightforward and clear. And so you're going to hear me use Thetan for like 10 things, and you're going to be like, wait, I thought you said it was a soul. Me too. Okay, but it's all these other things as well. So once you get to level operating Thetan 3,
Okay.
the OT3 out of the 15, and now remember, this has taken a lot of money and a lot of years of your life to get here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to just be OT3 in like the 3rd year. It takes a long time to get up this high. Once you get here, they tell you all about Xenu and the aliens.
Yep, I've heard of Xenu.
So, 75 million years ago, Xenu, the dictator of the Galactic Confederacy, brought his people, the Teegeeack. It's spelled Teegeeack.
That's lazy too.
Teegeeack, yeah, it's not great. To Earth, where he put them in volcanoes and bombed them with hydrogen bombs.
Dude, I forgot I heard that one time.
So, I guess his world was like suffering from overpopulation. So he took a bunch of naughty Thetans, brought them to Earth, threw them in a volcano, and then bombed them with a hydrogen bomb.
Hit him with a hydrogen bomb.
Because a volcano
just for
wasn't
extra
enough.
measure, yeah.
A volcano obviously won't kill you. So
I wanted to point to me where this happened.
So when the Teegeeack died, the immortal spirits, or Thetans. So now a Thetan isn't just you and your human soul. It's an immortal spirit of this Teegeeack.
So the Teegeeack is the alien, then he dies and becomes a whole separate being.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when they got bombed, they became Thetans.
Right.
The immortal spirits. And they grabbed onto humans. And they're what cause your spiritual harm. So if you married me, and then you cheated on me, you didn't do it.
The Thetan did.
The Thetan caused you to cheat on me.
No wonder rich people like this so much. It gives them an excuse to do terrible things and not feel bad about it.
Yes. So, and once they tell you this, you can't tell people.
Right.
You have to sign
give
a
up the secret.
Yeah, you have to sign a something of secrecy. I didn't write it down. And the reason you can't tell people, they have a reason. Because supposedly, if you find out before
You
your
won't pay money
spirit,
for the rest of it.
No, it's worse.
Oh, okay.
If you find out before you're spiritually aware enough to know, the R6 implant in your body will kill you with pneumonia.
The what?
So there was like a fail-safe implanted in our bodies. That way, if we found out before we needed to find out, we'll die of pneumonia.
This was added on later, wasn't it? Someone was like, wait, what if they...
So everyone listening, if you weren't spiritually aware enough...
Your R6 implant just exploded.
Yeah, you're all going to die of pneumonia.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, I have now killed you all of pneumonia because you weren't ready.
Is the implant in your lungs? It's just like...
I have no idea.
What is pneumonia
It's
again?
called
Is
the
that when you get
R6
water in your
implant.
lungs?
The R6, it doesn't stand for anything. It's just called the R6 implant. That's all I could find.
The Rainbow 6 implant.
It's literally... Oh my god. And everything is so jumbled. It's very hard to research this. Oh, also, once you've reached this level and they've finally told you this, you've spent at least $128,000.
Jesus.
That's at least.
Yeah,
that's the bare minimum you can spend to get to this level.
Also.
Right? Well over 100,000.
So out of curiosity, how far through the story are we?
We're on page 4.
Okay, out of 10.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm ready. Let's dig in.
So let's talk about the creator of this religion.
Okay.
Just to give you a kind of background.
Right.
L. Ron Hubbard, according to him in Scientology. I really shrinked it down because it was too much. It was way too much. So, according to him and all his followers, he was a prodigy and a genius, and then he went to the World War and he was wounded and blinded. And so for that, they gave him 21 medals for being just so awesome. He was just that great, right? And because he's like gotten up on this clear and whatnot, he's also cured his own blindness later on when he gets more clear. Yeah. So he has perfect vision.
So fucking clear right now.
Yeah. So in actuality, he was a D student. He dropped out of school. He wrote his own weird recommendation letter to the military, recommending himself.
Right.
He wrote it in the third person. He didn't do very well in the Navy. And this is bolded because it's copy pasted. This is what one of his officers wrote. This officer is not satisfactory for independent duty assignment. He is garrulous, which I don't even know what that word means, and tries to give impressions of his importance. He also seems to think he has unusual ability in most lines. These characteristics indicate that he will require close supervision for satisfactory performance of any intelligence duty. So pretty much you have to keep an eye on him because he's a child. Yeah. And he thinks that he's really important. Yeah, no, really. And, also when his time in the Navy was over, he in fact did not receive 21 medals. Yeah. I think you get a basic 4.
Yeah.
And he got the basic. I think, but everyone gets them.
Right.
It's not like, oh, you were incredible. Mm-hmm. You get the same ones everyone else got.
Right.
But he said that he got 21.
Participation trophy.
And there was some other stuff, like, he did some stuff in the military where he was like, there's a submarine over there, and shot at it, but there wasn't anything there. And, like, that's why they were like, okay, you gotta get him away. And they just kept sending him to other places because no one could, like, deal with him. Is really what it seemed like.
Dang.
After the military, he became a very close friend and follower of the occultist Aleister Crowley.
Great.
Yeah. That guy also created his own religion.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he created something called Thelema. I didn't want to research it because this is already so much. I already have too much on here. Maybe I'll cover him at another time.
Okay.
So he also starts writing science fiction novels at this time when he gets out of the military. Then a few years later, he starts writing this book called Dianetics. And that's where he's like, religion isn't the answer. And it's supposed to be like the self-help book. And he actually got funding to put it into practice. And this is where the state of clear, auditing, and then the past lives eventually come into play. Right. It all started here with his Dianetics. When his Dianetics creation collapses in 1952, he's flat broke. Okay? So he becomes interested in this electronic meter that he's created, the e-meter, which is where you hold these tubes, and supposedly an electric current goes from your skin, from your naughty thoughts, and makes the needle bounce up and down. It's so... I don't know.
He just made a machine where the needle wiggles, and he's like, that's neat.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
It does it off of supposedly the electric current in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Bullshit.
I don't know.
It's probably like temperature or something.
It's something. Maybe it just moves back and forth
yeah,
on batteries.
That's what I'm thinking. It just wiggles.
So,
it's like a clock that doesn't work.
Based on where the needle falls, the person auditing can tell about your transgressions and your thoughts, supposedly. And this is where he comes up with Scientology. And he establishes a headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona, where he awards himself a doctorate of Scientology.
I bet he did.
Yeah, he awarded himself a doctorate.
Well, I awarded myself with one too, so.
Right?
Now I have one.
Now I have one.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My ceremony will be next Saturday. I'll see you all there.
Yep.
1953, he stops trying to refute religion and instead claims that Scientology is its own religion. And then he starts charging people $500 for 24 hours of auditing.
Jeez.
And that was in the 1953. In today's money, that's $4,800.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
That scared the fuck out of me.
What was it?
Something slammed up against our window.
It sounded like a bag crinkling.
I don't have a bag over there.
We got a ghost, guys.
That was really creepy.
It sounded like something fell over, and it was like a plastic bag, or in a plastic bag or something.
Okay, but look at how there's no...
I know, I'm trying to figure out what it was.
The studio's like the cleanest room in our house.
I know.
There's nothing in here. Okay,
Should we cut that part out?
No, fuck it. Nobody listens to those. So, in 1954, there's literally so much going on. So this is like a really rough, shrinked down version of timeline of events because it was just too much.
I get it.
Too much. I'm sorry.
I had that same problem last podcast.
Right, with Anthem? Right. So 1954, Scientology starts spreading to other English-speaking countries. As it does. In 1960s, they open that Celebrity Center to try and get as many famous faces as they can, plus money.
Right.
In 1966, he gets on a boat to focus only on the post-clear levels. So, like, there's pre-clear levels and there's post-clear levels, but I was having a really hard time finding which ones were which. Claritin clear. And there's crystal clear, and there's, just all the clears. I'm sorry. So he kind of framed his boat after the Navy. Like, he fills it full of young, devout members, and they all get uniforms, and they all start kind of living militaristic, and they all kind of shitty attitudes, and they become known as the elite, members, or whatever, called the Sea Org, for Sea Organization.
Sea Org.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
In 1972, he faces criminal charges in France.
Nice.
1979, he goes into hiding, and his only contacts with the outside world were through 10 members, and he never even sees his wife again.
Holy shit.
And I think at this point, he's like on his third one.
Oh my god.
Because his second one goes to prison. Yeah, because this is what happened. And he married his second one while still married to his first one.
Ooh.
He just, like, one day, like, after the military, didn't go back home to his wife and children, and
God.
like got a second wife while hanging out with his like occultist and whatnot.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but it was too much to write in. So, this is why his wife goes to prison and why he's in hiding.
Okay.
So, they're under investigation from the FBI because of their. It says, okay, so I'm going to talk about operations, like Operation Snow White and Operation Freakout. Okay. These are not government and FBI operations. These are Sea Organization operations. These are Scientologist operations. Okay. So, it's all started with the Scientologist Operation Freakout.
Okay.
The Freakout operation, they tried to frame a journalist, Paulette Cooper, who opposed him. She like wrote a book about how that was a scandal because they had like sucked her friend in and like pretty much drained her dry of her money, and like they tried to frame her for a bomb threat.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, and they like put a bunch of like sex scandals about her and like tabloids and all kinds of crazy stuff. And part of that started this other operation called Snow White. So, Operation Snow White by Scientologists. I'm so sorry.
I'm kidding.
Under this program, Scientology operatives committed infiltration, wiretapping, theft of documents in government offices, and most notably the IRS. So pretty much they were wiretapping the IRS. They were breaking into IRS offices and stealing documents.
Holy fuck.
And
that's ballsy.
11 of their highly placed church executives, including his wife, pleaded guilty and were convicted in federal court of obstructing justice, burglary of government offices, theft of documents, and government property.
Jesus.
So pretty much they were trying to find and destroy any documents that had anything bad to say about them.
Right.
Because the IRS was also investigating them because it's like they're a religion and they're not paying taxes, but they've got a lot of money coming in.
Right.
And so it was like, do we really want to let them be a religion and be tax exempt? And so they were just trying to destroy all the bad things about them. And they kept like sending lawsuit after lawsuit to the IRS until the IRS finally like gave in and let them become tax exempt. So, flash forward to 1986, he dies of a stroke. At age 74. Or as Scientologists called it, as they call it, he dropped his body. So when you die in Scientology, it's called dropping the body. Because supposedly when you die, your thetan, your soul thetan thing, travels to an implant station on Venus.
Wow.
There, at this implant station on Venus, the planet, your memories are electronically erased and new false ones are inserted.
Why?
Then you're sent back to Earth to attach to a new body. And that's if you're still an original thetan when you die, if you're still at the OT levels and below.
What's the point of it?
Once you're a cleared thetan, you can choose your own body. Supposedly. None of it made any sense, and a lot of it was really contradictory. So you just keep living forever.
Right.
But,
reincarnation.
Right. Unless you somehow pass the bridge and become a god again. You'll keep living forever as a thetan.
So do they steal other people's bodies? Like they just like kick whoever was in it
They
out?
attach to a body. If you're just an original, if you're original thetan, you just attach to a body. If you're a cleared one, you can pick your birth parents and wait until she gets pregnant.
You just like sit and like wait and watch.
Yeah, as an invisible thing.
Okay.
But you have no memory of it when you're born. So it's all crazy. None of it makes any sense. And I really tried very hard to like find credible. It's all insane. Well, when he died of a stroke, that's when the current leader, David Miscavige, took over.
Okay.
So David was born into it. Like his parents had joined, and that's how most members are now.
Right.
Now we pretty much just have second generations.
Gotcha.
Because this came around in like the 50s and 60s when it was huge.
Right.
So, these people have been in it, and they've started auditing children. And you start at the age of 6 because they don't see you as a child; they see you as a thetan. So you're treated like an adult. So at the age of 6 is when you start having to hold these cans, and they ask you questions. And hold on, let me bring up my example of questions that they ask children.
A bunch of adults treating children like they're...
What has somebody told you not to tell? Have you ever decided you didn't like a member of your family? Have you ever taken something belonging to somebody else and never given it back? Have you ever pretended to be sick? Have you ever made yourself sick to make somebody sorry? Like, they ask children starting at age 6 these questions.
That's fucked up.
And so it's like this weird controlling brainwashing thing. So David claims that when he was a child, after 1 hour of auditing, his asthma was cured. Yep, only took an hour, and now he doesn't have asthma. So David Miscavige left high school to join Sea Org, where he worked directly under L. Ron. And it's like, sorry, a lot of them don't have even high school diplomas because a lot of them are encouraged to leave high school and dedicate their lives to this religion.
That's why you get them while you're young, because they're impressionable.
Yeah, and you're not forced. You're just strongly encouraged.
Yeah.
So by the age of 19, he was leading the team, the Sea Org team that investigates problems within the church. So many defectors, which are people who leave Scientology, you're called a defector when you leave. They believe that when L. Ron died, Miscavige just took over. Right. They didn't have like a vote or anything. He was just like, okay, it's mine now. And David Miscavige, his wife has not been seen since 2006.
What?
But he claims she's not missing.
What? That's terrifying.
Yeah, so the lady who's on King of Queens, her name's Leah Remini. She left, but she used to be like a hardcore, die-hard Scientologist because her mom was one, and so she was one by the age of 9. So she was at Tom Cruise's wedding to Katie Holmes. Right. Tom Cruise is David Miscavige's best friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. So Tom Cruise is best friends with the guy who runs Scientology.
That's why he was so into it.
Yes. Well, the Scientology guy was his best man at the wedding, but his wife wasn't there. And so Leah says, she was like, well, where's your wife? And she says that's the first time that she started feeling like real doubts. Right. Because they used to be friends and would send birthday cards and whatnot, and she hadn't heard from her in a long time. And then she wasn't at Tom Cruise's wedding, which was a huge event for all the Scientologists. It was gigantic. So, yeah. No one's seen his wife since 2006.
Holy fuck.
And even his own dad thinks that he had something to do with his wife.
How could you not?
Well, he's been accused of physically abusing members, like punching people in the middle of the face while they're in the middle of a meeting.
Holy shit.
Like, you'll be in a meeting with all the higher-ups or whatnot, and he'll get mad at you, and he'll just start physically abusing you. And supposedly he has an assistant that's there with, like, just a bunch of Band-Aids and stuff to help clean you up. Because they'll have, like, 5 meetings in a row, and sometimes you're going to have to be there for, like, the next 2, because it pertains to whatever department you're in. And so you got to get cleaned up and before he punches you for the next meeting. Jesus. I know, it's insane.
That is insane.
And so, like, his dad and other people think that she might be in the hole, his wife. So the hole is where they send naughty members to be rewired into loving Scientology again. Jesus. It's like this building out in the middle of nowhere, and supposedly they have like a lot of members there. It's like people that they won't let go. Because some people get out and they're just like, well, these person sucks or whatever. But some people they won't let go. And I don't know if it's, I mean, she's the wife. She might have a lot of damning information.
That's insane.
Yeah. So yeah, 2006, she hasn't been seen.
Holy fuck.
So David Miscavige, he did one interview ever. And it was 27 years ago.
Oh shit.
And he hasn't done any since then. And it's like, I watched it and it did not make a lot of sense.
Right.
And
it was about Scientology then?
Well, the interviewer wanted it to be about Scientology.
But he wouldn't.
But he just kept interrupting and trying to slander all the people who had ever said anything bad against him and trying to, like, discredit them. Because that's all they do.
He was trying to railroad the interview.
Exactly. And it's like, the interviewer would bring up something and he'd be like, well, this person said something bad about me, so I have all these pages of stuff to discredit them. And it's like, okay, well, that's not what we're talking about. Right. And a lot of people have commented saying that David sounds so smart and intelligent, but he doesn't. No. And it's just like, I don't know if it's because I'm a woman and I'm not a man, but one, interrupting, like constant interrupting and like deflecting from the question, it doesn't seem smart to me. Right. Like, because you just keep trying to bring up your own agenda, and it really doesn't sound like you know what you're talking about. And a lot of the times he answers a question, but it's not even the same subject, and you're like, do you know what you're talking about? Right. Yeah. I just didn't see him as that smart. But I did take some notes while I was watching it, and they're kind of jumbled because his interview is very jumbled and not in order, and I didn't feel like taking the time to put these in order, so you're just going to get what I got. All right. David Miscavige said, this is what he said about Scientology. It helps the abled get more abled. They don't want criminals and drug addicts and all that kind of stuff. They want already abled producing people. Nazis. To become more abled. More like money. Like if Nazis. You make a lot of money, they want to help you continue to make a lot of money. So they, yeah, exactly. They want to help you make a lot more money, so keep giving them more money. And it was, oh yeah, my bad, I forgot to put, it's an ABC Nightline interview, and it was in 1992.
Okay.
He's never on topic, and all he does is attack everyone else. So it's like, I don't know. And supposedly, he said L. Ron has written over 20 million words of Scientology.
Jesus.
And I'm like, huge. Words? You went through and counted each word?
Yeah.
That seems like a lot.
Right.
And I don't know, for some reason when he said that, it just stuck with me like, what? 20 million words of Scientology? Words. Yeah, why? Scientology tries very hard to destroy and slander everyone that tries to expose the church. He said, so since he kept bringing up defectors, the interviewer, I think his name is Tom or Ted. People who were alive then would probably know. I was not born yet in 1992.
Right.
So he was talking about the defectors and whatnot, and he's like, well, for every defector, every bad person who said anything bad about the church, I have 100,000 Scientologists that will tell you good things. And so he says a lot of things like that, and it's obvious that he's a liar because they don't have that many followers.
Yeah.
So if I see 6 defector interviews, he says that he has 600,000 that will say opposite.
Right.
Well, they also claim that they have millions of people. They don't. Realistically, they have about 30,000. And realistically, at the height of this, which would have probably been in the 90s, they would have maybe had 100,000, but it's not likely.
Right.
So I just saw him as a liar, someone who gets upset very easily. There was very tense moments where he was like about to freak out for no reason.
Jeez.
But the guy who did the interview, whose, again, name I don't remember, he won an Emmy.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, he won an Emmy for this interview. And one of the people who have defected, who used to be high up in the organization, he used to work at the international organization, he said that David Miscavige was really upset that he didn't win an Emmy because he gave the interview. So they made him his own Emmy. Now, like I said, this is just something one of the guys said. It might not be true, but I don't, likely. Yeah, I know. I don't doubt it. So I mentioned a couple times the Sea Org.
Yeah.
So, like I said, a lot of this I didn't know where to put. So some of the paragraphs, they just kind of jump around. So now I'm talking about the Sea Org.
Okay.
It's sort of a military for the Church of Scientology.
Right.
When you join, you sign a contract to be a Sea Org member for 1 billion years, including children. Children as young as like 8 sign this.
Holy fuck.
Because, again, they don't see you as a child, they see you as a Thetan. And you've lived 1 million past lives, so now you have to do this for 1 billion years. And they expect when you come back to rejoin Sea Org. Because somehow, even though you lost all your memories, you're going to remember them? Makes no sense. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
The Sea Org does everything from cleaning and cooking to shutting down negative media about Scientology and investigating critics.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's scary.
That is.
Many defectors claim that they were forced to work 20-hour days for just room and board and $50 a week.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Oh, I guess now's a good good time to point out that they're worth $3 billion. $3 billion, and they pay their most elite members $50 a week. Because you're giving your life to the church, to this better cause, blah, blah, blah. Aliens. If you're in the Sea Org, so if you're not in the Sea Org, you kind of have free roam of your life.
Right.
But if you do join the Sea Org, and they make about 5,000 members. So if there's really only like 20,000 to 30,000, it's a pretty big percentage, but not that many people.
Right.
So you're not allowed to marry outside of the organization. And most of them, again, don't have high school diplomas because they're encouraged to drop out and join Sea Org. Allegedly, Katie Holmes divorced Tom Cruise because they wanted their daughter Suri to be in Sea Org. So that's allegedly why she left.
I don't blame her.
And Tom Cruise, because she's a defector now, he is not allowed to talk to Katie or his daughter because they are defectors.
He's just cool with that.
Yeah. You send... If someone defects, you have to shun them. You're not allowed to associate them. You send them a letter saying, I don't talk to you anymore because you're a defector.
Jesus.
And supposedly, according to the internet, Tom Cruise is cool with it.
Sounds like it.
So, Scientologists also do these things called sec checks.
Sec check.
A security check.
Right.
They abbreviate everything. It's so dumb. So a security check is where they make you take the e-meter test while you're holding the metal rods, and they ask you really intrusive questions.
Right.
And that's when they also bring up all the dirty stuff they have on you. Like, one time you had a homosexual thought, or you stole that candy from the whatever, or I know you cheated on your wife. You know, they like bring it up. And only the people who give these audit tests know how to read these e-meters. So it's the security check is really, I mean, kind of biased. Right. You know what I mean? Obviously. And if you start to question Scientology, you're labeled a PTS, which is a potential trouble source. Yeah, I know. Great. They make you pay $800. Or, my bad. They make you pay for more of the $800 auditing courses to try and get you back on track. So if you're like, I don't know if I'm like feeling this, I just feel a little confused and out of place, they're like, here, take all this therapy. They call it's not therapy, but they're like, here, do all these auditing classes. So you're paying $800 an hour to try and get back on track and feel good about your life. Right. Once you've said anything against them, or if you've associated with anyone who says anything against them, like if me and you were hanging out and you were like, yeah, I think Scientology is fucking weird, man. Now I'm labeled an SP, a suppressed person. And you are also a suppressive person because you've said something bad about them. Oh my God. And again, I have to pay for more of this required therapy. Right. So, super clear. And they try to get you really hard not to leave. And once you leave and you're considered a defector and your family sends you the letter saying they're never going to talk to you again, now they try to really hinder your life. And they make, and a lot of them don't have even high school diplomas, so your life's already hard. And you've lost your whole family because they're all still stuck in Scientology, so you're having to start all over from scratch. And now there's this crazy organization trying to bring you down. And they will. They'll post all kinds of things about you, not only to the media, but anytime you do anything, they'll send letters being like, don't trust this person, they're a bad person. Like, David Miscavige's, I'm sorry, his own father left. And so when his father went to do an interview with ABC News, the Church of Scientology sent ABC this giant file calling him a pig and saying that he was lazy and a bad person. And it's just like... And so when they asked the Scientologist lawyer came in and did an interview too at the same time, and they were like, what? Why do you guys do that? Why do you sabotage people? And she's like, we don't sabotage them. Those were just other members that were there. And he's like, yeah, but you went out and found them and these are taped interviews. One of the taped interviews where he's talking bad, it starts out with him playing a piano. And then he looks dramatically into the camera and he's like, hi, I'm that guy, whatever my name is, and this is why you shouldn't trust the guy who you're about to give an interview to. And they produced and directed this whole video. And the reason they're able to do it, and they can do these corrupt things, and they can stalk people who leave, is because they're worth $3 billion fucking dollars. Yeah. They have all this money. It's crazy. Money is power. And like I said, they claim that they get 4 million new members each year. Holy fuck, that would be a lot. When in actuality, they only have about 30,000 members that live the lifestyle and actually participate. Dang. Yeah. So here's some weird info and facts that I didn't know where to put at in this story. So they're just at the end. There's a very high suicide rate in Scientology. Ooh. Now, we don't know the exact statistics because, of course, they're not going to give them to us. Right. But some of them do it because, one couple, the Sea Org is, a big deal, right? Well, his wife got into the Sea Org, but he didn't. It was, a big deal, so he had to do more therapy and be told that he was terrible in a past life or whatever, so he killed himself. Holy fuck. Right? So a lot of it is, emotional stuff. They put you, it's, really emotional, and it's really damaging and abusive, these things that they put you through. But not only that, but you think that you're just going to attach to a new body. You're going to go to Venus, you're going to come back down and attach to a new body, and you can try all over again. So why not kill yourself? That's fucking murder. Yeah, it's... Okay, that's the next one. Where did I put it? Oh, yeah. They have been found guilty in deaths of certain members
Dang.
Yeah, they've been found guilty, like felony account guilty.
Good.
That's even on their like timeline. Like, I went to Wikipedia and they have like this long timeline of stuff that have happened. It's so much. Oh, also, Wikipedia, they had to ban all Scientology IP addresses because they kept putting false information on all the pages associated with Scientology. Being like, oh, Scientology's wonderful and great.
There's like 5,000 people on a boat just trying to silence anything. They're probably just out there making wiki edits.
Wikipedia finally just had to ban all of it.
Okay, curious of anything, like what's going on the Scientology Reddit.
Oh, yeah, I know. See, I'm a Twitter person and you're a Reddit person, so I never think to look at Reddit. Mm-hmm. So I watched a lot of interviews of defectors, and every single time at the beginning of the interview, the person who's doing the interview was like, so the church contacted us, and they said that this person's a terrible person, and they just want money, and they're just trying to go after the church, and then the interview will be like, now, we're not paying this person for this interview. They're here on their own accord, on their own time, so it makes it very believable that they do stalk people who leave. Right. Because as soon as you do an interview, they send the person. Yeah. They're like, you're bad, and everything you do is terrible, and we hate you, and you're a pig. Like, I don't... Mm-hmm. Okay. So, according to defectors, you're never going to reach the top of the bridge. Obviously. They will just keep charging you more and more money. And I mean, he didn't even finish his 15 levels. So, like, the highest you can go is to 8. Right. I guess they're waiting for him to come back alive and finish him.
Show back up again.
Man, that's kind of a... Not to be like, if you were born, like, the same day that guy died, and you want to get rich, just join Scientology and be like, hey, I'm back, everyone. I'm here to finish the levels. Maybe they'll take you in. Maybe. Sorry. No, you're fine. And then also at the bottom I put that a few years ago I watched this show on Hulu, and it was called The Path, and it's pretty much about like a cult, but I don't know, it's very strange. Right. And every time I was reading something about Scientology, I was like, oh my god, this is just like that show The Path. So if you want to kind of get like a dramatized glimpse of it, I would watch The Path on Hulu. Right. However, the writer claims that it's not related at all to Scientology, but a lot of it was like... Be stalked. Right, of course. He doesn't want to get railroaded by those crazy Scientologists. But if you watch it, you're going to be like, wow. And like, especially with like the homosexuality and all this other stuff, it's very insane on that show. So yeah, I don't know, it's just crazy. But that's all I wrote on it, and it's seriously not even a fraction of how corrupt and weird and super weird, like Xenu, the galactic overlord. I just okay. And can you imagine investing like almost $200,000 just to get to that tier for them to be like, guess what?
Here's the next tier.
We're aliens. Throw all your self-help shit out the window.
Somebody threw us all in a volcano and blew us up with a hydrogen bomb. Yeah. That's the most ridiculous.
So, I'm sorry. I know my story was super long. So...
That's fine. My story might not go on too long. We're at 1 hour and 7 minutes right now. Okay. So great. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to be talking about a YouTuber called Pro Jared. So you probably haven't heard of him.
No, never. Yeah. I don't follow YouTubers.
Yeah, he's like sort of well known. He had just over 1 million subscribers, but he mostly did like video game stuff.
Yep, I would never know who he was.
I'm not surprised you didn't know him. But yeah, he was like kind of big. He started in like 2012 or something. He'd been around for a while at this point. But the gist of the story is he was cheating on his wife.
Great. Yep. Oh, you brought me mess. Yeah. let me get comfortable.
We're coming out of all that Scientology shit and going straight into some drama.
I live for it.
Okay, so the main people you need to know is the main YouTuber guy, Jared Knobbenbauer.
Knobbenbauer? Yep. He sounds like he would cheat on his wife.
His handle is Pro Jared. That's what his YouTube channel is called also. So he's cheating on his wife, Heidi O'Farrell, whose tag is Atelier Heidi, Atelier. I don't know if that's like...
I have no idea.
She's a cosplayer, so maybe that's like her cosplay name.
Oh, okay.
But, cool. And then so he was cheating on her with another YouTuber named Holly Conrad, also known as Commander Holly.
Okay.
And then after all this came out, Jared's fans started revealing that he had been soliciting them for nudes for years, and many of them were underage, and had told them that they were underage.
Ew! And he was like, "Oh, I don't care. Want to see?"
Or he just would ignore it or like downplay it.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So this all starts.
How do you do that? Can you talk to your followers on YouTube?
He had.
Or does he have like a Discord?
He had like
or something?
a not safe for work Tumblr.
Ew!
He would, like,
Tumblr.
Ask for nudes on.
That's gross.
Yep.
Did his wife know?
Yeah, she did know about that, but she said that when she like saw how bad it was getting, she tried to put a stop to it, and he told her that he had, but he didn't actually, which I'll get into. So the where this whole drama starts is...
Does she know the girl who he cheated on with?
Yeah, they're friends. Yeah. And they'd all three collaborated on videos and stuff.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yep. Okay, so May 8th, it is, as of we're recording this, it's, what, the 18th? 19th?
19th,
so
okay.
May 8th, 11 days ago, Pro Jared tweets simply saying a statement. It has a picture of a note that has a bunch of text on it, which basically just explains that he and his wife are getting a divorce. He says it's amicable and he won't comment on for Heidi's privacy's sake, but also says, quote, during this time you may see a lot of rumors, speculation, and gossip going around. And also, the girl he cheated on with, Holly, replies to this thing saying, quote, I'm so sorry you're going to get through this. I'm here for you if you need me. But this is before it had come out that he was cheating on her at the time.
Oh my god. Okay. Who posts publicly?
Does they're getting a
Hey
divorce?
everyone, all my followers, just so you know, I'm getting a divorce. Like, I don't know, like that one YouTube couple that like broke up via YouTube video, and all their fans are like, oh, they shared it with us. Like, what? That's fucking weird.
It is super weird. It's way too personal.
Yeah, things are supposed to be private.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the girl he cheated with was like, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, all right, I'm ready.
So the second thing that happens is the same day, they're still married, but they're filing for divorce already.
Right, separated.
Yeah. So she tweets, I recently learned that my husband, at ProJared, has been fucking at Holly Conrad behind my back for months. I have no idea what announcement he just made because he blocked me. And she posted a picture of his Twitter and she's blocked. So she can't even see the divorce statement he just posted. So then she posts...
I thought it was amicable.
Right. She then posts another 28 tweets that day, which I'm going to try to sum up.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
She's pissed. Mm-hmm. I like that she tagged it both. Like,
right,
I fucking know what you've been doing. I would have found them in person, but...
So according to Heidi, she found proof on an old phone of his dating from October to December of 2018. And apparently she only has up to December because he got a new phone at that point. So this is stuff on his old phone that she found. Everything from nudes to details description of times they'd met for sex. They would do it on work trips and secretly, since Holly had just moved to where they lived, which they live in Seattle. So I guess she had just moved to Seattle.
Oh my god.
And apparently they'd been having marital problems for a while. He was essentially gaslighting her, saying she was a bad person for questioning his loyalty while telling Holly that he was going to break up with Heidi soon. So he's telling his wife, like, he's mad at her for questioning loyalty, but yeah, at the same time, texting a side hoe, like, I'm breaking up with her soon.
And, like, most of the time, I'm not mad at the side chick because she doesn't really have anything to do with it. I'm mostly just mad at the person involved, but she's her friend. Yeah. So this is fucked up.
Definitely.
So she's a piece of shit.
Sure,
yeah, she's a piece of shit and he's a piece of shit. Normally, I don't attack the woman because... I mean, live your life. But if you know them personally, you're friends with her and you're looking at her in her face, like being chummy while you're fucking her husband. Oh my god.
And to make it worse,
the rage she must be feeling.
A little bit later, I'll get to it, but the girl Holly was recently divorced when they started like hooking up, but when they were sexting, they were both married when it started.
Oh my god.
Okay, so...
Is he attractive?
God, no.
It's even worse.
He's so fucking doofy looking.
Oh my god,
and
I'm gonna look him up.
Yeah, Jared Nobenbauer, or just search Pro Jared.
I'm just gonna look. Yeah, I'm
if
never gonna know how to spell that.
You might want to be careful though, because if you image search Pro Jared, his nudes will leak.
Thank you, fans, because he deserves that.
Yep.
I mean, it's terrible. Like, especially revenge porn. I think that's terrible. But this guy is a piece of shit, and I don't feel bad.
And the Heidi
Am I supposed to feel bad? Because I don't.
Didn't leak any of, like, none of Holly's nudes got leaked. She
right.
Didn't leak any of those. And nice. All the nudes that came out were ones he'd sent fans that then turned on him.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Did you look him up? Isn't he so fucking weird looking?
He looks like
people keep saying
Big
he looks
Bird.
like an ostrich.
Right! I just said Big Bird, like an ostrich! Oh my god! What is with that nose?
I know, and he's got the weirdest fucking smile.
He has like those what is the name? Steve Buscemi?
Yeah.
His eyes. He's got those eyes. He's got the nose of 3 people smashed together to form one super nose. In this one picture, he's making like a 5 chin face or whatever.
Right.
And you're just like... This one, he's like, I think it's supposed to be pretty. He's like looking off into the distance. And there's like cherry blossoms behind him.
His profile picture or whatever.
Dang. Why is it always ugly guys?
Right.
Jay-Z.
I'll
never forgive you for what you did to Beyonce. I don't care that you asked for forgiveness in that song. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Even when she... So this is still continuing what Heidi was tweeting about those 28 tweets. Said even when she had proof he wouldn't admit his guilt, his side of the story to his friends and coworkers was that she was aggressive and unreasonable and randomly angry all of the time. Yet when she tried to ask him what she was doing wrong, he wouldn't give her any real reasons and would just give her the silent treatment. So here's a great quote from one of her tweets. This is a quote. Honestly, at Holly Conrad, you look very ashamed and insecure in all the nudes you send my husband. I think it would help your chronic self-esteem issues if you started fucking men that weren't already married.
Oh my god. She fucking came for her.
Yeah, she did.
I can tell by the nudes you sent my husband that you have low fucking self-esteem. Yeah. That's awesome. Wow. Oh my god, I just found this picture of him.
Uh-oh. Is it the Sailor Moon?
Yeah, it's the Sailor Moon one.
I've seen it all over the place.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's like
fucking
a
weird.
Drag queen for Sailor Moon?
I don't know.
I don't know what's happening. He's not good at it. He does not look good.
Also, she apparently gave him a chance to admit what he'd done to his fan base, and he wouldn't. He even tried to get her to sign an NDA.
Fuck that guy.
She says she's more disturbed by his capacity for deception than the cheating itself. She never believed he was capable of lying like this. Then she gets into how he's been soliciting nudes from fans for years. It apparently first started in 2016 when he started a joke, not safe for work Tumblr, that eventually became just for nudes and from him. He also had an 18+ Snapchat. So he had a Tumblr and a Snapchat that he was getting nudes from. And I put, keep in mind this dude does funny gaming videos and his Let's Plays are mostly Nintendo titles, so he knows he has a younger fan base.
Ew. That's gross.
What are you looking at? You were making a face. Just more pictures of him?
Yeah, I guess some of his fans or whatever. So this tweet says, my roommate and I both added him because we thought it was a big joke, but he started getting more explicit the more we talked to him and trying to get us to send us nudes, and then he sent these risque photos to us. And it's like over Snapchat, and it's like you can only see his mouth and then like his underwear's on, but he obviously has like a boner. It doesn't look that big. Ugly dudes with small dicks love to cheat.
So that was all May 8th.
Okay.
Everything I just talked about was May 8th.
Okay.
This is the next day, May 9th.
She burned her so bad. You
right.
look like you have low self-esteem in these nudes that you sent to my husband.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
So dead. That gives me life.
So May 9th, the next day, she tweets 14 more times. These ones about how she's getting therapy and working on herself. She moved in her own place and just wants to get away from her cheating husband and his fans.
Good for her.
I said, but the amazing thing about this big YouTuber controversy is that the majority of his fans completely turned on him.
Good. Normally the men's fans are like... But if he's like... Never mind. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, so he had 1 million subs, remember? He lost 102,000 subs that day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the biggest drop in YouTube history at the time.
Really?
He got beat like a week later by that makeup guy.
James Charles or whatever?
Yeah, he lost like 3 million.
We should comment on that.
Yeah.
At the end of the show. Because that's disgusting.
Yeah. But, yeah, so it was a record at the time.
Wow.
As of now, he's still hemorrhaging subs by the thousands. I actually want to check real quick what he's at.
Yeah, do it. I'm still looking up. I'm trying to see. Not, like, looking for his nudes, but just kind of seeing, like, people making fun of them on Twitter. It's really funny. But right now, I guess he just released another statement because all the latest ones are, like, a day old.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So it's hard to find.
Oh, shoot. He had an auto-playing video on this channel. Right now, he's at just under 800,000.
So he's lost 200,000.
Yeah. So like a fifth of his fan base, basically.
Well, good.
And he hasn't posted a new video since... When was his last video? Oh, actually, on this channel, his last video was 4 months ago. Wow. I don't even know why people were still subscribed. He had a Let's Play channel. I actually was subscribed to his Let's Play channel before this happened. Wow. And I was like, I'm out. Yeah. So yeah. As of today, so also Holly Conrad's YouTube channel had 280,000 subs, and she was already like negative daily. She was losing subs by like 50 a day, but she lost 8,500 on the day on the 9th.
God.
She also made her Twitter private, and as of today is still private. She has yet to comment on anything, and it's just been like hiding essentially.
I mean, she should feel fucking ashamed of herself. Mm-hmm. And then she even commented, "We're here for you." Yeah. Oh my god, you piece of shit.
Yep. So
she hasn't said anything.
Nope. She made it private, and well, actually, she has one. Did I write down? She did.
One of her followers should like stalk her then for the rest of this.
Right before she like went private, she did post a response, and it got like screenshotted. I thought I wrote it down, but now I can't find it. But anyway, so Jared was a part of like a YouTube group called Normal Boots, which is basically just a collaboration of a bunch of YouTubers, which is where I mostly saw him. But they made an announcement that they're terminating all affiliation with him and just a bunch of general PR stuff. So he's basically kicked out of his like YouTube conglomerate that he was part of.
Dang.
So the next day, May 10th, Heidi tweets a few more times saying she's physically safe and doesn't fear for her well-being. She's going to therapy and is universally rejecting interviews. She said she seems to have said that's all she's got for now, ending it with saying she's on the mend. Jared has posted one thing since the statement. I won't be able to make it to The Descent this year, which is a con, but I hope everyone attending has a great time. I said The Descent is a D&D live stream that he and Holly were on and were both pulled from when this all came out.
Good. They should have been pulled. That's disgusting.
Yeah, so on the 8th...
Especially if you, like, run a con, you don't want the people that are showing up to, like, start drama and shit.
So on the 8th was when he posted the divorce thing, and then on the 10th, he posted this saying he wasn't going to make it to The Descent, and that was all he had to say until the 17th, which I'll get to.
Okay.
Oh yeah, during all this, Pro Jared's Reddit, the main moderator who runs it removed Jared as a mod and completely took it over. He changed the description to just say Jared cheated on his wife, and now the entire sub is dedicated to hate for him.
That's awesome.
And the whole Reddit is getting archived as of the 12th, so you'll still be able to see it, but no one will be able to post or do anything with it.
Okay.
So the guy took it over. They like burned Jared for like a whole day, and then just got rid of the Reddit.
Okay.
So his official Reddit is like toast. Another interesting detail in all this is that Holly was married to another YouTuber and coworker / friend of Jared named Ross.
Okay.
Ross and Holly divorced because she wanted to move, but Ross didn't.
She wanted to move to Seattle to be close to the dude she was fighting? Oh my god.
And yeah, so now we know Holly was sexting Jared, and they started hooking up right after she moved to the same area as him. So that's probably why she wanted to move.
Wow.
Especially, I'll come back to that in this most recent update. It comes back up. So the next update, that's where I left it at first, and then I came back and did an update on the 15th because we were going to record that day. Mm-hmm. As of that time, Heidi had been tweeting appreciation for support and is still doing her usual cosplay and is trying to move on. Jared hadn't said anything. Yeah, Jared hadn't said anything since the 10th, and Holly's Twitter is still private. So update 2, I just wrote this today. It happened the 17th, so a couple days ago. But Jared posted again since the 10th, and it's 2 images that were just walls of text. But I had to just take the whole thing because it's just, you gotta hear it all.
Okay, I'm ready.
Alright, this is all a quote.
I don't know why I'm clearing my throat. I'm not going to talk.
I am deeply sorry to anyone who has seen the accusations, vitriol, or unwanted photos that my former partner Heidi and others have been posting online since last Wednesday, May 8th, 2019.
Wait, that's what you're sorry for? Okay.
The truth is that Heidi and my marriage has been in bad shape for some time. I never wanted any of those details to become public for both Heidi and my mental well-being, but they have, and the accusations being made now must be addressed. A few years ago, Heidi asked me if we could be in an open polyamorous relationship. I recognize now that this request and my willingness to go along with it was an unhealthy attempt to solve deeper issues that had developed within our marriage.
Whatever.
Heidi has taken several casual partners and has been in a more serious relationship with another partner since 2017.
Is he lying?
Whether done... Oh, we'll get into her response after.
Oh, man.
Whether done to make her own actions feel justified or because she genuinely believed it would help me, quote, build self-esteem, Heidi suggested that I also engage with other women. Heidi encouraged me...
Sorry, I know I'm interrupting you.
Ahead.
However, as a poly person, there's a difference between being poly and being a fucking scumbag and cheating.
That's basically what Heidi says in response.
Because I'm poly and you're monogamous, but we have an agreement and I'm not out there fucking people.
Right.
And if I were... Okay, so I don't. I went ahead and committed to Zach. But if I were out there sleeping with people, Zach would know. And there also wouldn't be like a weird emotional connection with him. And there wouldn't be like this connection where it's like, yeah, I'm going to leave Zach for you. Yeah. Or whatever.
Right,
that's
exactly.
fucked up. That's cheating. That's not being poly.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Disgusting.
Heidi encouraged me to tell Holly that I was developing feelings for her, but when I did, things changed with Heidi. She became angry and vindictive and did not want to speak with me, or did not want me to see or speak with Holly anymore. She called me a, quote, cheater and claimed that I was destroying our marriage because of my affair.
If the person you're committed to says that they don't want you to see that other person anymore, you have to respect it.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have to work that out your own. You don't get to just keep doing it behind their back.
Right. And then he goes on to say, even though she continued to have other relationships with other partners, I never wanted to destroy our marriage, and I spent months after that doing what I could to repair it through couples therapy and extensive individual therapy. But obviously that's not true because...
Right? I'm like, whatever.
He has messages. Those close to me have witnessed Heidi's behavior towards me on many occasions and have begged me for leave. Begged me to leave for some time.
Where are they at?
Right, and
where are they? Because I just now saw on Twitter that someone like had defended him or whatever, and then was like, "Guys, I jumped the ball too soon. He sucks. I'm really sorry, Heidi.
Yeah, pretty
My
much.
bad."
Like some of the there's like another YouTuber called Peanut Butter Gamer who they had collaborated for like since 2012. So for like 7 years they'd worked together a lot and were like great friends. So he immediately like jumped to his defense, but then as he learned more and talked to the wife, he was like, "Yeah, I take it back."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's your friends who are at fault, y'all. Sometimes your friends are the people who suck.
And then he says that they begged him to leave for some time. I was many things during this time, including embarrassed, scared, and broken, but I was never the abuser. I made several attempts to leave starting in October 2018, which is when
You're a pedophile. What are you trying to say?
So October 2018, for just to throw it back, was when the sexting apparently started, from what she had found on his old phone.
Sure.
But each time she refused to let it happen, and threatening to destroy my career and harm others if I left. Despite all this, I tried to end things amicably. I helped Heidi find a new place to live and paid the initial deposits. I bought her a car to facilitate her independence.
Literally the least you could do.
I formally filed for divorce on May 13th, 2019, and have instructed my attorneys to make sure she receives her fair share of what I earned while we were together. I genuinely never wanted any of this to happen, but I finally
he's gonna
realized I
have
have
to.
no other choice. Right.
Cheating is something where you can't be like, no, you're not getting half my shit. If you cheat, you have to give up half your shit. That's how marriage works. You fucking idiot. I'm gonna make sure that she gets her fair shit because you have to.
And that's what
cheated.
she says that too later in her
what
text.
A dumbass.
I know.
Oh my God. Are his followers dumb enough? Well, you said they're kids, so they might not know this shit, but come on.
He's getting absolutely blasted on Twitter. I'm surprised he isn't down more subscribers, to be honest. But Anyway.
There's probably half people who don't even use
Right,
YouTube
that's
anymore.
what I was thinking.
There's a lot of people who don't,
Mm-hmm.
me included. I'm subscribed to so many old people because I don't use that account anymore.
Right.
Ryan Higa.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even think he does YouTube videos anymore, but if he has a channel, I'm still subscribed to it because I was in high school.
Right. Even though I've been tempted to put information out online that shows my side of the story, I don't want to further stroke the fires of what should be a private matter between us. Even though he's the one that went public first.
I know, what? If it was so private, why weren't you guys oh my god. You were like, hey everyone, I'm divorcing Heidi.
And then blocked her.
Bye. I wanted it to be private.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
He says, but I want everyone to know that any other interactions I may have had with any other women were known to and encouraged by Heidi, and
I doubt it.
were had with only the purest and lawful intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who talks like that, you know they're trying to, like, save face.
The chick left her husband to move to Seattle to fuck you. It cannot be that good, girl. What's wrong with you? Girl.
The last thing he says is, I'm
White
sorry.
men are the cancer of the world.
I'm gonna move past that. Being a white man. I'm sorry to everyone that I've disappointed. I realize that as a public figure, I am held to a higher standard. I have made my share of mistakes, but I only ever try to do what's best for Heidi and me. That's how he ends it.
Whatever. Oh my god.
Yep. You ready for her response?
Yes.
So
I bet it's gonna be delicious.
She starts by making a Game of Thrones metaphor. She said, Sansa Stark has been my favorite Game of Thrones character for the past several seasons, and you can probably guess why now. She's naive at first and believes in her fairy tale ending. Her awakening to the real world is cruel and violent. She learns how to hold her cards close to her chest and keep her composure through enormous injustice. She eventually outmaneuvers the men who took advantage of her. And also, she's a redhead, which Heidi is a redhead.
Oh, okay. Nerd alert. But you said she's a cosplayer. I was just like, oh wow, this is the nerdiest statement. Go ahead, though.
We have a Game of Thrones
I know we have a Game of Thrones podcast. I'm such a
Gotta bring you down on that level real quick. She talks a bit about posting to her YouTube again, so she's basically just trying to get her career reinvigorated. And then she responds to his statement directly. She says she's shocked he's still trying and that his statement is full of misdirection and lies. He says he only ever acted with her approval, which he says is, quote, nothing short of bullshit. And that she was upfront with him about not being comfortable with the poly relationship because he'd proved that he couldn't be transparent. So she never denies that she had other partners. She doesn't really touch it. But she does say that he couldn't be transparent with her, and that's why she didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, okay, that totally makes sense. Exactly. That's something you can do. If it doesn't work for everybody. Mm-hmm. That's why we don't do it.
Yeah.
And I made that commitment to be monogamous with you. And so, oh my god, what a dick. I'm so mad. I hate when it's always the woman's fault, but it's the fucking worst.
I know. Heidi said she knew he and Holly were interested in each other and that she'd called it out way back in January of 2018, which she found the sex in she found them this year, but they were from October to December.
Right.
So she knew they were interested in each other all the way back in January of last year. And she says that Holly is the reason their open relationship didn't work because Holly told Jared she only had feelings for him, even though she was married at the time. And Heidi had said that she told Jared, holy shit, absolutely not, when she found out.
Yeah, because already that's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Because does your husband know?
Right.
Oh, God.
And then she goes back on the... By the way, the other guy, Ross, basically was like, I've moved on from her. Don't involve me in this at all. Just leave me alone with it. And just didn't want anything to do with any of the...
Cool.
Yeah. He just wants to be left alone, which I get.
Don't blame him at
Yeah.
all.
She then goes back to the nudes angle, saying that she had no idea it continued past late 2017 because she demanded that it end. As for the money part, she said, quote, I literally couldn't move out without him paying these things because he'd had financial control over me for years. He encouraged me to be dependent on him, now wants accolades for caring for my basic needs. That's not generosity. I'm entitled to 50% of our shared wealth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You cheated. That's number one in marriage, is that if you cheat, they are allowed to divorce you and they are allowed to take half.
Yep.
Everyone knows that.
It's the law of the land. She also points out that
especially since she has messages, she has proof that this was a secretive thing that she didn't know about. Because I can see how you could take the poly thing to court and make it awkward, But with the nudes and the secrets and the text messages that prove that it's secret, she's going to win. Mm-hmm. She's going to 100% win. Yeah. She should try to take more than half, honestly.
Probably. I think both of them just wanted over with it.
Yeah.
She also points out that she was with him since before he was even on YouTube and was dating him while he was on unemployment before he'd started like making money on YouTube.
Wow.
So she'd been committed to him for years, even before he like got famous.
What a douche.
And then a little bit later that day, people must have been asking her a lot about the polyamory thing because she felt the need to clarify. She said they tried it, but then she shut it down because while she never had anything to hide from him, she did not receive the same transparency.
Right.
And then, so the last thing that happened was on the 18th, so yesterday, she tweets how she won't be removing any videos that contain him, and maybe sometime he'll be completely wiped from her life, but for now, she's just recovering. And Holly's Twitter is still private, and nothing else from Jared.
Gross.
Yep.
And that makes me mad, because people think polyamory, they think of it as like dating, like how you can date two people at the same time and it's two separate relationships, and you don't got to talk about the other relationship because you're just dating. But that's not what polyamory is. It's all about openness and definitely no fucking secrets and lies.
Right.
And that just makes me so mad. It's not dating where you can have two separate relationships because one, you're not committed to either one of these people. You're just dating, you're just having fun, and they don't, they know, hey, I'm seeing someone else, but they don't have to know their name, where they live. Well, in polyamory, you don't have to know where they live, but you need to know the basics. And almost always you meet them. So it's very just, I don't know. I think it's really it makes me so mad.
Right, no, I get it.
Because you, like, as the person who's not the polyamorous one, you do need a say, and you do need an approval. And you would have to meet them and be like, well, I don't hate this person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That just makes me so mad. Right, but the person who broke his record is James Charles, who lost 1 million followers in a day. And that is a disgusting thing. So this lady, Taddy, whatever the fuck her name is. I don't follow either one of them.
Right, I didn't either.
I've always known that James Charles is a piece of shit just because of the shit I see people retweet on Twitter. Like, it doesn't take but 3 seconds. And 2, he's not even that good at makeup. He's only famous because he's a boy that does makeup. His overdrawn lip looks terrible.
Like,
and that's coming from
me. For being a white rapper.
Exactly. It's like, and that's coming from me who doesn't even do makeup. But I know what a good overdrawn lip looks like, okay? And so she pretty much just exposed that he has kind of been blackmailing straight men into sleeping with him and using the fact that I'm a celebrity. Fuck me and I'll give you what you want, even though you're straight. And that's really fucked up and it's really wrong. Yeah. And the thing is she's known about it for a long time. And so for her to just now be exposing it when he's no longer contributing to her, because the only reason this happened is because he started supporting something that's her direct competitor. And so what you need to know about her is she harbored someone. She harbored
on this info
exactly
until she could use it against him.
She kept him safe. She harbored him. What is the word I'm looking for?
I'm not quite sure.
Not pedophile. She harbored... What is he?
Well, like, because he blackmails men.
So, I'm trying to think of what it's called. Just a monster. Someone who's not a good person until it no longer fit her cause. And she's also like a huge Trump supporter, so no fucking thanks. Let's just go ahead and get that out there now. No fucking thank you. You're both disgusting. You both deserve to have both of your careers thrown away forever. You don't get to harbor people like that. You don't get to just keep them around until they're no longer benefiting you.
Right. That's how everyone gets ahead. That's why it's such a fucking shitty system.
So yeah, I'm glad that all the YouTubers are getting brought down now because fuck those people.
Right.
And it's like kids are who watch YouTube. I'm sorry, but I hardly ever watch YouTube. It's not really my thing. And I know a lot of people my age do watch it, but I also know people who have children who they just put YouTube in front of them, and the kids watch fucking whatever. And, like, that Shane Dawson guy, who also is a piece of shit, by the way. Everyone who watches his conspiracy videos. Kids watch those. Yeah. And kids think that what he's saying is funny, and it's not. And these YouTubers really need to be taken off because it's children who watch YouTube.
Right.
But
I watch YouTube. But I mostly
and he's also a child.
It's true.
I'm just kidding.
I mostly watch, like, news stuff, whether it's just, like, regular news or, like, gaming news.
Yeah.
And then I watch this, like, D&D show. Because I don't have anyone to play D&D with, so I watch other people do it.
I feel like that was... Did you all feel like that was a jab at me? Because he looked at me a certain way, and if y'all were picking up on those vibes, I also was.
I just don't have any friends is all.
Well... Fuck that Pro Jared guy.
For real.
Fuck that Holly girl.
Yeah.
I hope Heidi gets a shit ton of money and lives her best life.
Mm-hmm.
And you already know that him and Holly are not going to be able to have, like, a flourishing relationship.
No
Even
way.
if they do stay together for a while, it's definitely going to be harbored in resentment.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So.
You want my ad?
I would love your ad. I'm sorry. I kept talking forever.
That's fine. Okay. So today...
I didn't make one. Scientology exhausted me. I had a nightmare about it. 3 swimming pools. Okay, go ahead.
So today, I'm announcing our newest book.
Oh.
How to End Your YouTube Career in a Day. Have you ever wondered what it's like to have a moderate amount of fame and fortune and throw it all away in one move? Well, perfect, because our book will explain all the best tactics, like cheating on your significant other, manipulating your fans, and soliciting nudes from minors. Order now at 1-800-FUCKBOY.
In just 3 easy steps.
Which, by the way, 1-800-FUCKBOY has the right amount of numbers, so it might be a real number.
Oh, nice. We should call it. We'll play whatever answers on this end.
It's going to be like a random fucking person.
Yeah, should we?
I left my phone home.
I'll do it.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah, I got my phone up. I'm going to have
to... You got to figure out the letters.
I think they're on here. Yeah, okay. 1-800-F...
F-U-C-K-B-O-I.
C-K...
Could do B-O-Y if you want.
I'm going to do B-O-I.
Okay.
Hottest live action where nasty girls take it any way you want.
Oh no! Is my phone service going to be charged money for having to listen to that? Oh, I really hope everyone listens for the end, or we call the sex hotline. And with that, we end the show. Bye, everybody.
It could have been more perfect. Bye. Wait, you didn't plug the socials?
Fuck.
I didn't end it yet.
Oh, shit, we're still on? Socials are Twitter, Instagram, Chewing Glass Podcast. Feel free to email us at chewingglasspodcast@gmail.com.
Sorry we haven't posted in a while, but hopefully the long episode makes up for it.
Game of Thrones episode is tonight, the very last season.
Yeah, the last episode. Mm-hmm. No spoilers here, but we'll do our last episode.
But we'll definitely do it on our next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Probably record that tomorrow.
Right.
All right.
Bye. Guys.